Hi, my name is Sruti. I'm an author and spiritual teacher who discusses my experience of awakening in chronic pain. In 2018, I had an allergic reaction to an ear piercing that drastically changed my appearance in a short amount of time. 6 years of prednisone has weakened my bones and caused deformity, especially in my feet. Chronic pain taught me to look inside of myself, to use pain for what it is truly meant to be in our lives, which is an eraser. An eraser that erases all of the false layers that we think we are, back to find the source of who we truly are, the timeless one that never leaves us. If we are not our thoughts, if we are not our feelings, if we lose control of our body, and if even our consciousness is failing us, we are the ones who know the failing of consciousness and can see the edges even of eyesight. From this place, we never end, we are never harmed, and we never truly die. This is the true source of being, the true source of consciousness, the true source of you, and the true source of me. If we are not taught that this is what pain is supposed to be used for, we use pain for other things, like blame. We blame ourselves or others, and when we blame ourselves or others, we must create an object upon which to place that blame. When we objectify others, especially women, we dehumanize that person and make them vulnerable to violence, sexual violence, and rape. This began with the myth of Adam and Eve, when a male god gave Adam the gift of life, made Eve from his rib, and then blamed Eve for the fall of man, thus making her into an object forever. Adam blamed her because he was afraid of what she discovered by eating from the tree of knowledge, the fear of pain, death, and illness. Rather than going inside of himself to find the truth of who he was, Adam blamed Eve for his problems and made her into an object of hate, an object of desire, an object of beauty, and ultimately an object of rape. With this kind of oppression, all women who are all treated like Eve cannot rise above this oppression unless we go back to the source of pain itself, rewire what it means to be in pain, what pain is supposed to mean in our lives, and change the cycle of blame that creates oppression for women, but also oppression for anyone on this planet who has been blamed and objectified, meaning people of other races, people of other economic situations, anyone who has been objectified and placed into a hierarchy of objects, where objects can be better or worse than one another, higher or lower, holier or unholy. This all comes from our relationship, our faulty relationship to pain. And so I believe that what I discovered in pain can change the cycle of blame and can free women to then correct the vastly out of balance state of the divine feminine on the planet at this time. The physical world, the planet, is a place of duality, a place of good and bad, light and dark, masculine and feminine, and they are designed to coexist together in harmony, to be in balance. When things are in balance, the world functions as it's supposed to, and there is less pain in the world to suffer. There is drastically less pain, ironically, the more we look into pain and find out that at the bottom of that, we are not harmed or destroyed, but rather strengthened in spirit, in finding the source of our souls, the source of our spirit, and the source of God Himself, herself, and itself, as God is ultimately beyond both masculine and feminine. Right now, with our problems with the climate, with the economy, with social inequality and rampant sexism. These are all symptoms of a world out of balance. The divine feminine has been oppressed for centuries, and it is her qualities that can bring healing to the planet at this time. Unfortunately, she cannot claim her full power if she is still oppressed by rape, and this comes from still being oppressed by blame and ultimately our fear of pain itself. The world of duality is a world of both being able to manifest what we desire and also a world of God, something we rarely discuss as we feel this topic is too personal and off limits. And yet we see it right now, even intertwined with our political system, and not in a healthy way. As I discussed in my previous video, the family, a superpower in Washington, is a pseudo-religious group that claims they are chosen to lead because they are predators rather than because they are humble, vulnerable, patient, kind, loving, or any of the qualities that the divine feminine in her power might exhibit. And so we misunderstand what God is, what that role is in our spiritual life. We misunderstand self-help. We misunderstand manifestation. We basically are missing a whole half of spirituality, and that half is the divine feminine. Many teachings of spiritual awakening only include one half. They fail to discuss our relationship with pain. They discuss how and question the source of who we are, but then don't discuss what happens when we realize who we are, and that realization floods up from the inside back into our reality, back into our bodies, back into Mother Earth being called that for a reason. You've heard the saying of Father Sky, Mother Earth. Father Sky is the awareness we are not our bodies. Mother Earth is the awareness that we are everything. We are in everything. God is everything. God is in everything. And that realization is what comes from finding the source of God underneath the false layers of yourself. I discussed briefly my hesitation with positive thinking, with the New Age. That is because this is only one half of spiritual truth. In that one half, we are empowered to create our own reality. We can manifest anything. We are taught to feel that confidence, to realize that we are divine and that we can do or be anything. And yet there is a whole other half, a half that comes in times of pain. And that is vastly misunderstood. Right now, when we are in pain, the New Age says that we must have done something wrong, that we manifested that pain, that it's karma coming back to us, a form of punishment, a mistake. But actually, sometimes pain is fated. It is a lesson in our lives. It comes to teach us things like humility, vulnerability, and most importantly, compassion. Pain pulls the quality of compassion most clearly from humanity, and it is that quality that we most need right now in this overly aggressive world. Right now, you can see in the news, in the media, in many people in the country, that when there's pain, they just want it to be over with, to make it go away, make America great again, just get this away from me, I want it to stop. No patience to look inside and learn the lessons of pain and make changes from there. Pain is not meant to dwell in, but shows us where we need to make adjustments, where we're out of balance, where we need to make changes. It's an important teacher, besides only being an eraser, to show us how to live a more balanced, compassionate, loving, true life, a life that is aligned with all of your skills, talents, and desires. God loves when we live happy lives. We did not come here to suffer. And so the full half of spirituality includes pain, includes divine feminine qualities of accepting that pain, becoming vulnerable, humble, and compassionate. And so we have the side of manifestation, the masculine side of power, personal power, creating your own reality. And then we have the feminine side, one in which we surrender to a power that is greater than us, to fate, to destiny, to God, Himself, herself, itself. Now, I was raised in a world where I believed that we were beyond feminism. I believed that we had already learned those lessons, that I was an equal participant in society, and that feminism was something that was for an ancient time before we'd entered this new time of non-duality, beyond masculine and feminine. Now, this is the true reality. God is beyond masculine and feminine. We are beyond masculine and feminine. The world should be living beyond masculine and feminine. But in no way are we even close to being there yet. And so the doorway to actually enter that type of imbalanced world is to radically rebalance the out of balance feminine back into the world. And this requires what I have just spoken about, a spiritual awakening that is inherently feminist. In fact, I would go as far as to say that spiritual awakening is feminism, and feminism is spiritual awakening. You cannot have a full spiritual awakening without realizing these truths. You cannot have a full awakening unless you realize the role of pain in your life, unless you stop blaming others for that pain, and unless you stop objectifying women. The divine feminine will wake up to this truth first, followed by the divine masculine, who also has the feminine within him. Now, the last thing I want to say is that I believe in miracles, something that comes from the side of the feminine. I myself am a bit of a miracle. Not many people thought I could come off of prednisone after being on it that long. When I walk into a doctor's office, they don't recognize the person in front of them. My recovery has been something I myself have believed in all along, but many others didn't. And I have been assisted by divine favor in meeting me halfway. I manifested my recovery, and also all of the universe supported me. God supported me as well. I believe in many types of miracles, and I believe in miracles surrounding this current election. I do not believe I spent all that time recovering to live in a Trump patriarchal, God, man, dictator-run, blame-filled scapegoat society rape world. I do not believe it. So I believe that miraculously we can see turnarounds. I believe this election will turn around, and I believe we don't need that level of suffering to begin to work, do the hard work, look at what is painful in our society, and begin to recover in the way we're meant to without having everything fall apart. I believe that the biggest miracle of all will be the society able to rewire our relationship with pain so that we no longer have a blame society. We no longer make people into objects. We no longer live in a patriarchal hierarchy of objects where people are unequal. We no longer blame women. We no longer objectify women. And rape is a distant memory. Please join me in helping to create this new society. Thank you.